What's up, Brommandos? This is Mike from Ration, and I'm joined by Matt, the failed film student. And today we're going to be talking about one of our favorite movies of all time, Alien. The real reason we both went to film school and accumulated vast amounts of debt. How you doing, dude?
Yep, that's not too far from the truth.
Well, to be very fair, it is like the best movie ever made. One of. So, you know, it's good. It's good for a reason. As you can see, go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say I'm not. Yeah, I'll probably give it best like sci-fi horror movie. I got kind of a different opinion now than I had back in the day when I first saw it. So yeah, I mean, I'll get into that.
Perfect.
So, well, we're playing Alien Isolation.
That's right. We're gonna, just so you all didn't have to like watch our faces talk about a movie you've probably seen, we are gonna be playing some Alien Isolation, the game that could really replace pretty much all the Alien movies besides the second one. But that's just this dude's opinion.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Definitely scratch 4 and maybe even Prometheus.
Prometheus.
Whew, man.
What a beautiful piece of garbage.
That's a perfect description. A beautiful piece of garbage.
Yeah. Deliciously terrible. Nah, I don't know. I'm just maybe that's like a bit too harsh. But anyways, we'll talk about Prometheus. No, okay. We'll talk about it sometime. Today we're going to be talking about Alien, and this game kind of gives a nice little recap of the very first movie right here in the intro.
The commercial starship Nostromo. Third officer reporting.
It's Ripley.
The other members of the crew.
Lambert, Parker, Brett,
Kane.
Dad. Oh, so this is recapping the end of Alien?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's giving the last part of the flight recorder from the Nostromo.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Cargo and ship destroyed. I should reach the frontier in about 6 weeks.
Of course, at the end of the movie, she seems like more relieved than anything. Here it just kind of sounds like really ominous.
Yeah.
Hey, it was written by another Dan.
Oh, cool. Alien Isolation.
Alien Isolation. So cool. In games, no one can hear you scream unless you put your videos on YouTube. Then everyone can watch you scream for money. What? Oh, I didn't even realize she's wearing the exact same outfit as her mom in the movie.
I work for the company.
I'm Samuels. I work for the company.
Okay, Burke.
So is it?
We think we may have found her, Amanda.
So when did Aliens take place? How long was the gap supposed to be? And that was like 30-something years.
57 years.
57. No, I was off by a couple of years.
Yeah.
So this is in between 1 and 2 then.
That's right. It's kind of like
Aliens, spoiler, her daughter was dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But she died of old age, so I guess she makes it out of this game alive.
Yeah, apparently.
I still haven't beaten this game. I made it about halfway, and it's really beautiful. It's like a really incredible game. Really would love to see this game more as like a movie, because I'm not really a horror survival player. I don't really get scared by it. I just kind of get annoyed and frustrated.
Yeah. The first Resident Evil game, especially the HD remaster, is like that.
Yeah.
About an hour and a half into it, kind of like, man, fuck this game. Yeah, check out our video on that on my channel.
Pretty much. You all should check out his video of that. It's actually quite fun.
Yep. Loads of fun. But yeah, I'm looking at I'm kind of paying attention more to the set here. This is looking like it's pretty true to the technology of the time period that it was supposed to be in.
It does a really...
from the movie, like the 70s, that old kind of retro, futuristic type tech, you know what I mean?
It does an incredibly good job of that throughout the entire game, as you'll see. It's really pretty phenomenal just how well they I mean, just seriously, just down to like the most minute detail, it really follows Alien and Aliens so just perfectly, which is actually kind of funny because I rewatched Prometheus recently and kind of felt like how it just felt so much newer than these movies did. Yeah,
kind of like Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah.
It took place in the past, but the technology is way more advanced than... Yeah.
Technology is actually, even though we have space flight now, technology is actually just kind of going backwards. It's going back to the Dark Ages.
Oh, your first objective is to get dressed.
Of course, can't fight aliens naked, man.
I don't know why. Yeah, Ripley did it in her tidy whities in the first one.
Isn't that kind of like the most awkward shot? You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those weird things. I kind of understand why, because she was getting ready to get into hypersleep, but still, the whole end of that movie is like Ripley and her undies. That's
pretty much.
Wow, check out this old school like Apple II computer.
Right. It's total Commodore 64 action.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
You know, Ridley Scott, he actually he didn't want, because they all wake up in like the very beginning of Alien, and they're all kind of like in these weird underwear in their cryo sleep chambers. Mm-hmm. Ridley actually wanted them all naked. Like, he wanted all of them completely naked because he thought that would be more realistic, but I guess the studio pulled back and said, they were like, nah, we don't really want all of them naked.
Oh, I would have put a yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, for those of you who haven't watched Alien, what the hell are you doing with your life? But welcome to our review. And just to recap on what happens in Alien is basically the Sigourney Weaver's, she plays a character named Ripley, and she's on a ship with a whole bunch of basically people who might as well be space truckers.
Yeah, they're space truckers. Yep.
Space truckers, yeah. Mm-hmm. They're not adventurers, they're not action heroes. They are truckers who are like trying to get mineral ore from, their last mission back to their company on Earth, and they get woken up from the middle of like hypersleep to check out what could be what looks like maybe an SOS signal, but just this really weird signal on a strange planet.
Yeah, and that whole opening sequence is, and I've heard that it's kind of like some of the best cinema in history, which I'll kind of agree with that. It's really amazing. This, like, for the first about 6 minutes of the movie, there's no dialogue. It's just kind of like these tracking shots through the through the Nostromo, the ship. Get these long, like, narrow corridors, and what are those little bird things? The little rocking. I never. Is there like a significance to that? You know what I'm talking about? The shot. It shows the two little birds on the table, kind of rocking back and forth, and then it pans around.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're actually in the game, along with like the really weird blue bobblehead thing that just kind of goes up and down the whole entire time.
Yeah, that's on the bridge. Is that?
Yeah. I don't know if there's. What's that?
No, I was just looking at the set here.
It's amazing, right? It's like
Some fantastic set design.
yeah. I don't know if those really mean anything, but I do feel, I do think it's awesome that that kind of stuff is there, because it really kind of gives it this feel of almost like an office place, like a home away from home. You have all that stuff on your desk that you like hate, but it's there anyways.
Yeah, the picture of the wife and kids and the little plant. Yep.
Little Zen garden. Mm-hmm. Paperweights, crap. Oh man,
but yeah, I love that whole opening sequence, especially with the shots with it. It's kind of weird. I don't know if there's a significance to it, but the little emergency helmets that are sitting up there and the screen kind of flashes on. And you get those weird sounds. It sounds almost like voices, like and it's shown sort of through, almost like as if the helmets are watching it.
I remember that. Yeah,
it's kind of weird, but it's cool at the same time.
It's so cool. I think that's like one thing about Ridley Scott that just always blew my mind is, here's a director who really knew how to bring worlds to life before they had CGI.
Yeah. Wow, look at that screen, man.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so old. It's, he always, like, even in, he obviously he perfects it in Blade Runner, but there's just always something going on the screen. And it's like Ridley always tried to, show things, kind of show things in the most interesting way possible. He could have just easily just shown what the screen was showing, but he's like, no, what if we have it reflecting off the visor of the helmet? That'll be like so much cooler looking.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think he refers to it as sort of like breaking the fourth wall, but not in the sense like the characters turn and look at the camera, but just like it's kind of like breaking that 2D dimension. Maybe he said breaking the third dimension, where it's like films take place on this 2D screen, but if you can kind of have like something, give it a more 3D, feel to it, like you can move through it.
Yeah, but that what that opening sequence does, though, is it really works perfectly to establish the tone of the movie.
It does, yeah.
Because the whole first hour of that movie, there's not a whole lot going on, really. It's just a bunch of people talking about bonuses and, yeah, we need to get our bonuses and, the stupid, like, mundane shit. But it's got this kind of claustrophobic, like, almost squeezed in feel to it, and it's kind of like a slow burner of a movie.
It is. Like I read Roger Ebert's review of it, and he was talking about how pretty much like the first, it's a very long opening first act, and it really kind of just takes its time developing curiosity in regards to what the alien is, like what this movie is going to be about. And there's so much to actually look at. It's like, it's honestly, this movie and Blade Runner, just so much depth there that it's like you could really take those tracking shots, and it's like I don't get bored watching them.
Yeah. Yeah, I was listening to a commentary as what's the guy's name? The creative director from the Creative Assembly that made this game, Alistair Hope, I think is his name. But he said that for this game, they watched that opening sequence like 100 times, and they basically, throughout development of this game, they basically had the movie on in a loop. So they literally watched it over and over and over again for like weeks and weeks. And then I also heard that they had access to like all the original like concept art, and then extra footage. Like Fox gave them all this extra stuff to work off of. which is pretty cool. Because so far this is looking like it's staying really true to the original Alien movie.
Isn't that amazing? It's like the one. I mean, could you imagine just being like given the chance to work on one project? I feel it's so weird. Movies and video games to me, honestly, are still kind of like, I guess the mystery of them is that you go to film school and you kind of feel like, I'm going to make movies like this, but you kind of come away kind of feeling like movies like this are almost happy accidents where just all the right proper talents got together and focused on delivering a vision that they did not settle for anything less. They did as best that they could, and just kind of like the stars aligned to deliver this movie that was going to rock the cinema universe for forever.
Oh yeah, yep.
If only it could be like that every time. But you wanted to talk about you wanted to spend part of the review talk about Dan O'Bannon, didn't you? Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how all this is connected. Is like you were saying, it kind of all just lined up perfectly because not to make this about me, but you were talking about going to film school. I went to film school and I blew a bunch of money, went into a bunch of debt. But it's really, to me, the story of it's fascinating because O'Bannon, a lot of similarities. He said that he's done interviews where he said that he knew pretty early on that he wanted to, in some capacity, make movies. He didn't quite know what capacity. But anyway, he said that he applied to about 4 or 5 different schools that had film programs, and they all kept rejecting him. And then finally, he got into UCLA. Is that right?
I think it was USC.
USC. Okay. Well, anyway, it was the same school that Carpenter was going to, and Carpenter was working on his thesis project, which was Dark Star. And then he O'Bannon met Carpenter and they started talking about ideas, and Carpenter was like, oh man, I got to get this guy on board this project. So O'Bannon helped him with writing it, helped him with, making doing the set design, which is awesome. Talk about awesome set design.
Yeah.
Dark Star is so fucking cheesy and fantastic.
Shoestring budget. I read that all the buttons on their ship's computer are actually ice cube trays just turned over and illuminated from underneath.
Yeah, they used ice cube trays, and they used I think they used egg cartons that they painted. The helmets. If you notice that, it's been a while since I've watched the movie, but the helmets are like toys. Mm-hmm. Kid-sized toy helmets. They used a lot of toy models for some of the miniature work. But yeah, it's a no budget movie. But I don't remember the reasons why. But I guess they got so ambitious with the project that they were like, well, let's just keep on and make this a feature film and get some money. They went and got extra money, made it a feature film, and I think it flopped so hard that it was so critically panned that O'Bannon ended up hating the movie. So Alien was supposed to be his redemption.
I feel like it. Yeah, it's. I think it might have been Carpenter who said, we set out to make the most ambitious film school movie ever, and we got a theatrical release which turned it into the worst theatrically released movie ever instead.
Yeah. Yep. I think O'Bannon said something similar, it was, it was too large and too large of a project to be a good student film. and it was like one of the worst, theatrically released movies ever. So I'm pretty sure that was like his reasoning behind starting to write Alien, was kind of like a big fuck you to the critics of Dark Star.
I think
Whereas that was a comedy. He was like, I'm gonna make a horror movie so that I can really like bother, get under the skin of the viewer. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of an interesting story, how it's all kind of tied together.
Well, I was just about to mention, so after Dan O'Bannon, like, he did that, he graduated, which I guess the only one thing I wanted to add about Dark Star is I heard that there is an alien in it. The alien in that movie that they run into is basically just a beach ball.
It's a beach ball. It's a
glued to feet.
Oh gosh, man, it's such a silly, goofy, amazing sequence. Yeah, it's a beach ball. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I've heard many stories. I've heard that at the same time, George Lucas was actually going to USC, and they invited him in to the set, and he saw that thing, and he just stared at it for like 10 minutes, like he couldn't get past how weird it was.
Yeah, I think Lucas had already. Was he still going, or did he already graduate? Because I think that Dark Star references THX 1138 a couple of times, so I'm pretty sure Lucas had already made that movie. His student film version of THX.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people. I always get USC and UCLA like confused, and
I think it was UCLA, but I don't know. Either way, it was in Southern California.
Right, it was Southern California Film School.
Yeah,
one of the famous ones. But anyways,
that all these guys that ended up being like that ended up basically changing Hollywood went to in the late 60s and early 70s.
Yeah.
Yep.
So after Dan O'Bannon, I mean, after he made Dark Star, I mean, he really didn't have much going for him except basically the first 30 pages of Alien, yep. And he showed it to Ronald Shusett. Now, did Shusett? I felt like one of them actually. I thought Ronald Shusett was actually part of Dark Star too, and he asked for his name to be removed from it. But maybe that was Dan.
I'm not sure. I don't know if Shusett was involved with it. I don't remember. I haven't heard anything about that, so I don't know. But yeah, I think what the story was, that O'Bannon went to Shusett, or he met Shusett or something like that, and he was like, yeah, I've got like 29, 30 pages of the script, I need help. And he ended up like living with Shusett
on his couch.
Because he was broke, and yeah.
And so was Shusett. Yeah, I've heard that. I've also heard that they actually they started working on the script for Total Recall first together, but they just
I think so. I think that they had somehow Shusett had gotten the rights to that story, or that. Yeah, I think that was what it was. So he had already been working on Total Recall. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I know.
Correct us if we're wrong here.
Right. Anybody in the comments. Yeah, I mean, well, I read an interview with Shusett where basically it was they wanted to make Total Recall, and I'm pretty sure Dan O'Bannon said the same thing. They were like, Aliens was kind of like, or Alien. I keep saying Aliens. Wow. Alien was this movie that they were like, okay, Roger Corman will make this for us for about $750,000, but Total Recall is the actual big movie that they want to make. And it wasn't until like 10 years later when Arnold was all like, I want to be in your movie, that they actually got to make it.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you here. I was just looking at all this graffiti all over the walls.
Yeah, this movie is like this movie. It's a movie now. This game
should be a movie.
it should be. That's what we're gonna keep. That's gonna be the running theme of this entire Alien.
This should be a
saga.
movie. Yeah.
This should be a movie. This should have been what Alien 3, 4, 5, 6 should have been. You heard that Alien, we know that Alien Covenant's coming out, but you heard that Neil Blomkamp is still supposed to direct like an Aliens movie with Sigourney Weaver?
Oh no, I didn't. I thought he was out of it.
According to Sigourney, like the word is that it's not dead. It's just that Ridley Scott went to Blomkamp and just asked like, "Hey, can you hold off on this until Covenant comes out?" Which,
all right.
I mean, I hope, really, like, like where the source I said, they said it kind of best, write off Ridley Scott at your own peril. But still, the movie I really want to see is I want to see a movie that forgot about 3 and 4 and just brings Ripley back.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That's what Blomkamp's supposed to be.
Wow, so I'm really digging. I hate to be stuck on this, man. I'm really digging the look of this game.
Oh well, you should. It's amazing. We can. No, that's don't worry about it, man. Like I feel
so
like.
Is it? Oh, it's like a tape recorder that saves. Okay.
Yeah.
That's old school lo-fi shit right there.
Pretty much. If y'all are watching this, you're getting the entire Alien experience. Like you're gonna hear about every aspect of the entire Alien franchise saga, all of it. So
yeah, all of it. Yeah.
If you haven't already clicked away, but
hopefully you did.
Hopefully you'll still hear.
Getting back to the development of the Alien script. Yeah, it's weird that O'Bannon practically hated Darkstar, and this was supposed to be like his redemption. Like I'm gonna redeem myself from that, but it was Darkstar that got him work because oh god, what was his name? French director, I think, had gotten the rights to Dune and saw Darkstar and was like, this guy, he pulled off some serious set design with a low budget, so he hired O'Bannon to come work on set design for the Dune movie. So
was that Jodorowsky's Dune?
Yep.
Oh yeah, now that's a story for the ages.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that fell through.
Oh, me too.
Ended up with David Lynch version that, oh man,
bad.
That's a whole other. Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long while, but yeah, it's bad.
Well, I know that's like the one movie that Lynch made that I'm pretty sure he doesn't like. I'm pretty sure I heard that like he doesn't like that movie either.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, dude, Jodorowsky was Alejandro Jodorowsky. What a crazy dude. Jeez.
Yeah.
If y'all want the real film school experience, people, just like rent like Holy Mountain in El Topo and get like high on LSD and just lose your mind for like 6 hours.
Yep.
Jeez.
You got to drop some acid first, though. That's the key.
Film school in a nutshell.
Yep.
Yeah. God. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, but don't go to my advice unless you're going for connections, like UCLA, or maybe a film school in New York, maybe where you have those connections and you're actually going to get somewhere after you graduate. You're not just going to have a certificate.
Yeah.
Like, great, there's no jobs here. There's a film school, but there's no film industry.
Yeah.
Anyway, unless you want to do that, just take Alien and do what these guys did with this game and just study Alien. Just study that movie. Because that's like... Now, I will say that I think the one major flaw with Alien and this is the same with Blade Runner, because I watched that recently too, is that it is the character development. There's practically no character development. Not from my perspective. It's just like, hey, here's a bunch of dudes that, were out collecting ore, coming back to Earth, got awakened by this distress call, whatever the signal was. And then, let's watch them die one by one. And that's pretty much the whole... And that's it. That's as far as the characters go. That's... Yeah.
It's basically like, I mean, the reason why I really feel like it got greenlit was that it was basically Jaws in space. So they kind of had something to kind of cross-reference it with. I mean, a lot of people talk about, good character development, dude, and I'm not convinced that there's any real one way to do it, especially depending on the type of material that you're presenting.
Not really, but my main issue with that movie is that, like, I didn't really care about any of the characters, so in a sense, like, I didn't exactly care what was happening, That makes sense. Like, to me, it's like a kind of a more of a novel thing. Watch it once. And it is like an immersive kind of experience, though, because the set design is amazing. It's got like a good atmosphere, tone. I know Ridley Scott's a great director. But to me, it was just like, okay, watch it once just for the novelty thing, to see like a horror. Like, basically, like, and I think Ridley Scott even said this, that what he was trying to achieve was like a Hitchcock meets 2001. And then maybe watch it, give it a second view to maybe pick up on things that you didn't, because there's a lot of sexual, like, undertones in that movie. Which, I watched that. I watched Alien when I was a kid, man. I had to have been like 7 or 8 first time I saw it.
It's a very impressionable age.
And it's kind of the same thing I found with Blade Runner. Like, to me, that the whole opening sequence, like the first 4.5 to 5 minutes, it's like, wow, this is amazing, and it really just immerses you in the setting, the environment, and Ridley Scott, again, he's masterful, I think, at like art direction. And another thing that, like, I've mentioned this too here while I'm rambling, is like, I love little details like this. Like, he took and I guess they brought in like fog machines or something, but they basically smoked all the sets. It's hardly noticeable when you watch it, but there's like a very thin layer of smoke throughout the whole movie, kind of like what David Fincher did in Seven, which is, by the way, one of my favorite movies. He took like mineral oil or some vegetable oil or something and like smeared it, some of the sets, he smeared it all over the walls, create this like real grimy, just gritty effect. And I think throughout the whole movie, not only is it raining a lot, but he brought in these little misting machines, and like misting the set, so there's just like this kind of like thin layer of mist. It's almost imperceptible, but you kind of pick up on it, and it's all part of that kind of like claustrophobic, real, just closed in, uncomfortable setting. So anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that, but I love that kind of stuff. I appreciate that kind of stuff. The look and the feel, the overall, tone and atmosphere of it. That part of it's amazing to me. I think just story-wise, like I didn't really feel a connection with the characters. So, like I said, and basically I didn't. It's kind of like a voyeuristic type of thing. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, I don't know, man. I might just be like one of the. I just might be too big of a fan, like just such a big fan that maybe I love. I mean, I know that I definitely parts of my life being a film school student who's obsessed with these kind of movies. I have a tendency to be like, but no, it's great. it's great. And other people around me are like, yeah, it's okay. But I mean, as far as character-wise goes, I actually really love Ripley's character.
Yeah, I like Ripley. That's the one.
The one. And
the one character that
I mean, I don't know, I really like Ripley. I really like Ash. He's so Ian Holm in that role is just so creepy and perfect. Like, I mean, just the little movements that he makes that kind of hint that he's not human.
Like that
so
little
cool.
jog thing he does, and
which they totally make the androids in this game do too, by the way.
Okay.
But I love Ripley just because, I mean, I feel like she's such an enduring character because, she really, I mean, first off, she was written to totally be a man. And Ridley kind of came in, and I think he sat down with Dan and Ron, and he was like, what if she wasn't a man? What if she was a woman? And they just were like, well, it's really more of a unisex character. We really don't care. And it really worked. And it's not because just so much that she's a woman, oh my God, it's different. But just because, like, the way she is just that she has so many, like, qualities and characteristics that make her, like, really likable as kind of this thriller hero, or maybe an action hero, even though this movie really isn't action. Like, she's terrified, but she's, like, still really brave and courageous in the face of fear. And I felt that Sigourney did, like, there really wasn't probably a whole lot of actresses that could have done that. They tell the story how she got the part. Like, they couldn't get no big name actors wanted to do this movie. They were like, it's Jaws, but in space. Who gives a crap? And when they, and then they found Sigourney, they said that, she was like half an hour late. And she tells it from her perspective that she went to the building on the other side of the street and ran around for like 15 minutes and finally realized she was in the wrong building. So she goes to the other one, and Ridley and the casting director, they're like, we hear this like running down the hallway outside, like just clop, 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 clop of these high heels. And then all once they stop and we hear this like someone just sighing. And then in walks Sigourney Weaver, and she's like, hi, sorry I'm late, and it's just, kind of just picks up and goes from there. And they said that is what convinced them that she had to be Ripley, was just the fact that she could kind of like work under pressure like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Another person who was actually in it, who I think kind of plays off her really well, is Veronica Cartwright, because she's right.
Yeah, and I heard that there's like a theory that they all the crew members were like having sex with each other.
What?
And there was some kind of like some idea that her and Ripley were like having a lesbian thing. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't doubt it, because I mean, But one of my favorite, and it's weird too, because Harry Dean Stanton is one of my favorite actors. But he said that he was just thinking about, excuse my language, but to quote him, he said he was thinking about pussy the whole time. So, yeah.
That's a character actor for you.
But yeah, this going back to this whole sexual thing, that even like, because I think this was Schuster's idea for the chest burster that was even conceived as like a sex act. The how the face hugger like basically inserts itself into the mouth and impregnates the person. I heard that the intent behind the whole like Ash which is a weird scene, man, with the magazine rolling it up to stuff in her face, like that's supposed to represent like rape. He basically is trying to rape her, because when watching that movie, that's kind of another one of those, like I was saying, the weird decisions. Like, what is that? Why? What was he hoping to accomplish with a rolled up magazine?
Right. Why wouldn't he not just use his android strength to just choke the life out of her?
Yeah, choke her.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I thought. And I mean, yeah, we can't really review Alien without talking about that. There's a lot of that throughout the entire movie. I mean, the entire movie kind of plays with that dark eroticism.
Yeah, I mean, getting Giger's... Is it Giger or Geiger? I can't remember. I think it's Giger.
Hans Rudi Giger. I think
Giger,
it's Giger. Yeah.
I think his designs, just not only the alien designs, but just his artwork in general seemed to be real, like, hypersexual.
Well, the alien. Yeah, let's talk about Giger. Let's get into Hans Rudi. I use old bones to make set of alien. They're dry. Yeah, let's talk about him. So here's a guy who's Swedish artist. I think he's Swedish. Well, he was Swiss. Okay, he was Swiss. Something.
Something.
Yes, European.
Somewhere in Europe, yeah.
Yeah, some dude from Europe. So H.R. Giger is like probably one of the most profound artists of the surrealist movement. But with him, all his surreal art kind of focused more on the biomechanical aspects of like a nightmare world.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, he was also, in real life, he was a Satanist. And he was one of the only people who I actually would probably take seriously when they say they were an actual Satanist. Like,
yeah, and apparently he did a lot of opium too. So
I'm not surprised. He was, I mean, he's a very interesting dude. But anyways, what I was getting at is like the original artwork for the Xenomorph. If you see it, the Xenomorph's head, like that really elongated head, it's totally a penis. Like, it is a dick. Yeah. Like, it is not just, elongated head like that. And I think that was the original design that Dan and Ron saw when he sent... Because he was... While they were writing the script, he was actually sending them artwork because Dan knew about him because he was, an art school kid.
Yeah, I think he actually met him when he was in France. Working on Dune, because Giger had some kind of an exhibit there. I think I'm pretty sure that he actually had met him working on Dune.
It's really interesting. Like, everything about Giger is really interesting and really weird. If you've ever seen his artwork from his book Necronomicon, which is, I think, kind of what kind of rocketed him to international fame. Just really just bizarre, crazy stuff that looks something like Alien mixed with the Black Mass from the Satanic Church. It's super creepy. It's really interesting. One of my friends who went to art school, he actually found a copy of it in a garage sale, and he opened the cover, and it was actually signed by Giger and Dolly both. And he's like,
"Wow,
how much you want for this?" They're like, $4.
God, they didn't know what they had.
No, I had no idea. Back in the day when people went to garage sales. But anyways, this was his first movie ever, and everyone, if you listen to like the commentary, everyone was actually afraid of him because he was kind of like Dracula. He dressed all in black. They said that like they would be standing in a room and they'd look over and there'd be like Giger in the corner, like Nosferatu, just kind of like hanging back,
looking all weird.
He was very weird.
God, what a weird dude.
He was weird, dude. You ever see the documentary with him where he's holding a human skull? He's holding an actual skull. And he's got like 3 other next to him, and he's like, "This is the first skull I owned from my childhood. I was afraid of death, so I attach it to a string and I carry it behind me as I go to school." And you're like,
"Oh
what?"
man, God." Yeah, check out that documentary. I think that's called Dark Star as well, isn't it?
It is. It's Dark Star on Netflix. It is.
Yeah, it was on Netflix. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just
check that out for a look at just a weird ass individual, man. But I love his artwork though.
I think that should be another film school requirement, is that you know who Giger is, and you actually appreciate what he does. He's weird and as creepy as it is.
Yep. It's frightening too. So.
It is the stuff of nightmares. You know.
Perfect. Yep.
Oh, let's go ahead.
Perfect for Alien.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was about to say. You know, he actually had a hand in all of the Alien, not only the design but the production, set production, and that. The really big, the money shot, the one with the space jockey, he actually airbrushed that entire thing.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Ridley even told him. Ridley was like, he's like, "You don't have to do that."
Yep. Speaking of that, there's another old movie that you should check out. It's called Planet of the Vampires.
I have not.
And that is it's like a 65, I think. It's Alien. It's like sorry, not Alien. It's an old like Italian, like extremely low budget, but O'Bannon lifted ideas from that, and that's actually where he got the idea for the giant alien skeleton. Because Planet of the Vampires is like this crew lands on this planet, and they find this like wrecked alien spaceship, and they go exploring around it, and there's like a giant alien skeleton. So he lifted from that. It's pretty neat. It's not really a good movie, but for being a no budget sci-fi movie, it's actually worth a watch. At least once.
It sounds like something lifted straight from a Misfits song.
Yeah. Yep.
That's about all the time we have for today. Everyone's still watching. We really wanted to cover Alien in this one review, but we just started talking, and it seems like we have more to say than we thought, man.
Yep, I could talk about it all day.
Me too. We still have Aliens. We've got Alien 3, Alien 4, Alien Prometheus, Alien.
Prometheus, yeah.
The AVP movies.
AVP.
AVP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a lot to talk about. So if you all are enjoying this review, we are so happy you are, because we definitely are, and we'll pick this up again another time.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, y'all. See you next time. Till
all
then,
right.
seek and destroy our like and subscribe buttons. Blah.
That's a good way to end it.
Yeah, that works.